Alright guys, if you feel like you have bad posture from sitting at a desk or just sitting all day, or if you just generally feel quite hunched over, then this follow along routine is for you. You've probably heard me talking before about how just static stretching doesn't really help you to improve your mobility or your posture. So we're going to focus on active movements where you're actually strengthening the muscles. Your posture gets bad because your muscles are weak. The muscles that hold you upright are weak and you just can't maintain good posture throughout the day. So throughout the routine, I'll show you how you can progressively overload each movement. The progressions with this type of work are going to be very incremental week on week. All right, let's jump into the routine. Cool guys, so the first exercise is going to be scapular cars. This is going to help us just find some strength through the rhomboids, through the traps, through the lats, through the serratus anterior, which helps us to maintain good posture throughout the day. This is going to be a superset. You can watch me demo the exercise, then pause the video, do the exercise, and then return to the video. So let me just show you how to do it. So you want to just lie down on your front, and we want to think about maintaining a hollow body. So you want to try and engage your glutes and tuck your pelvis, and then chin to the floor. We're going to bring the hands behind the back, and then the first thing you're going to do is just think about squeezing your elbows together and then reaching up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to try to rotate the shoulders and reach forward. And you're trying to keep your hands as far away from the floor as possible. Cool, so we'll go again. So you're going to squeeze the elbows back, extend the arms, and then rotate and reach forward and try and get your palms facing up as you reach to the front. Cool. Now, to progress this, you can take 2 light weight plates and then just simply do the same movement with the weight plates. Hands behind the back. Squeeze the elbows together, try and keep your glutes engaged. Navel off the floor, extend the arms, and then rotating, reaching forward, and coming back. And then finding the lower back again. Cool. So we're going to superset this with an exercise for the glutes and the hamstrings. So the glutes obviously switch off as you're going about your workday, so we want to try and refine that activation and try and pull ourselves out of an anterior pelvic tilt. So for a lot of people, the hip flexors get very tight and the pelvis tips forward, and we get a lot of extension through the lower back, and that's where things like lower back pain and limited hip rotation start to come in. So to counter this, we want to work on what we call hip extension in the form of a single leg elevated glute bridge. So we're going to have the heel on a bench or a surface, the other knee coming in towards the chest, hands on the floor, and then we're just going to drive the hips up and really focus on keeping your back flat, tucking the pelvis under, and really driving this knee up towards your chest. And then we can lower down, and then again drive up. And one thing I like to think about is really driving that heel into the surface, and that's going to get your hamstring and your glute really nice and active. And then coming down again. And what we want to avoid here is extending the spine. Really try and think about almost trying to roll your back off the floor one vertebrae at a time. Cool. Now to scale this one up, we can simply take a weight, like a kettlebell or a dumbbell, and then we can just load the side where we've got the leg on the surface, still bringing the other knee in towards the chest, and we just want that to kind of rest on top of the pelvis there. And then again, thinking about driving the hips up, bringing this other knee to the chest, keeping the lower back flat. Nice. Cool. So to go through the reps for this, we can work on 5 reps of the scapular cars. Anything more than that is going to be really tricky. And then we can work on 8 reps on each side with the glute bridge. And you can do this as a superset, and we want to work on 3 sets of this. And then we're going to move to the next superset. Alright guys, the next superset, both exercises are going to be on an incline bench. If you're doing this from home, you could lean into a chair or a sofa, or just find some sort of similar setup. And we're going to be working on Y raises, which is going to activate your lower and mid traps. Being strong there really helps you to maintain a nice upright posture. And then we're also going to work on external rotation, so rotating the shoulder back when we're sitting and we're hunched over our laptops or our phones. We tend to internally rotate with the shoulder, so it's really important to get that opening through external rotation. And we want to do external rotation with a slight incline, because then we don't have gravity assisting once we pass that kind of 90-degree point. If you're standing up, you've kind of got gravity on your side here, whereas if you're forward, then you don't have that gravity assistance and there's more resistance to fight against. So I'm going to show you with body weight in case you're doing this from home, and then I'm going to show you how to increase the resistance. So leaning into the bench in this case, and then the first thing is the Y raises. So I'm just going to set my hands up into a Y shape, and then I'm just going to reach forwards. Now what I want to think about here is trying to depress the shoulders. So as I reach up, I'm trying not to like really elevate with the shoulders. I want to really try and integrate into the scapula, pull the shoulder blades down, maintain the activation. And I also want to try and keep my glutes nice and active. So I want to avoid arching too much here. Okay, and we want to be nice and slow and controlled with the reps. Trying to face the palms up to the ceiling. We'll then go into the external rotations, and then I'll show you how to add resistance. With these, we want to just squeeze the elbows back, and then we're just going to simply work on that external rotation. And again, we want to try to avoid elevating the shoulders. So always think about shoulder depression or scapular depression, pulling the shoulders down away from the ears, and trying to keep a fixed elbow position, keeping the elbows in line with the shoulders. Cool. Very simple way to add resistance. Obviously, will be just hold two light weight plates or dumbbells or whatever you have. You won't want to go too heavy here. This is quite a challenging exercise. Even body weight should feel quite challenging, and if it doesn't, then you're probably compensating. So shoulder depression, shoulders away from the ears, reaching up into a Y shape, palms facing up to the ceiling, and then coming down. We should really feel our mid-back activate here. And then into the external rotation, pulling the elbows to the side, in line with the shoulders, glutes on, reaching back. Good, and for both these exercises, we're gonna work 2 sets of 8 reps, but on each rep, you wanna be holding at least 2 seconds. We really wanna hold in that activation. Cool guys, so this superset is really gonna help you with that posture, especially if you're someone who hunches over all day, whether you're sitting at a desk or you're driving or you're traveling, whatever it is you're doing, this is really gonna help you with that hunchback posture. Let's go to the final superset. Cool guys, so on to the final superset. We're gonna do bench thoracic extensions. This is gonna train your extensor muscles, which help you to stay nice and upright, similar to the last superset. And then we're gonna work on some shoulder extension. So shoulder extension is simply your ability to pull your arm behind you. And in this case, we're gonna be really strengthening into the rhomboids, again, which help you to maintain a nice upright posture. So we're really doubling down on the posture in this workout. Let's start with the bench thoracic extensions. You're gonna need a stick and then a surface that you can rest your back onto. If you're using a hard surface, then you can just put like a towel or a mat on top to make it more comfortable. And then we just wanna rest kind of the bottom of our shoulder blades onto the bench, and then just walk your ankles right up towards your glutes. So you're creating a little bit of extension here and through the spine. And then we're gonna reach our hands back with a stick. You can use a broomstick if you're at home, and then just ride the hips up. And then from here we can bring the hands up, and then starting the exercise, we're just gonna drop the hips as we bring the hands back. And this is really just gonna allow you to isolate the thoracic spine, which gets very locked up and locked into flexion. And we wanna work to bring it into extension. And then driving the hips up again. And then dropping the hips and really reaching back. And really try and again pull your shoulders away from your ears. You want to avoid elevation at all costs. Great, and to add resistance, we can simply just take 2 weights. You'll want to slowly increase the weights here, don't go too heavy too soon. And then again, starting with the hips up, hands up, dropping the hips, reaching back with the arms, and try and always have some level of resistance against the weight. So kind of pushing up against the weight, so you don't just let your arms kind of flop back. And then again, dragging the hips up, hands come up. And we can do quite a few reps here. We can go for 10 reps of these. Cool. The superset is going to be, as I said, working on your shoulder extensions, your ability to pull your hand behind you. And then for this, it's simply just going to take a stick, and we want the back of the hand to be facing towards the body. We want to have the hands about shoulder width. And then you can come into a seated position on your heels, or you could sit down on a bench or a chair. And then we're simply just gonna reach the hands behind the body. And what you wanna try to avoid here is kind of bringing the head forwards or leaning forwards with the body. So try and keep almost like a stacking of your head, shoulders, and hips. Okay, let's do it. So reaching behind, and coming down. The range of motion will be quite limited here, and that's perfectly normal. Cool. And again, we'll go for 10 reps with these. Now to add resistance to this, you can simply slide a weight through the stick, and then just bring that stick behind you, and just make sure that weight is centered. And then again, just reaching out behind the body, trying to maintain that alignment. And you can think about squeezing your shoulder blades together at the top to really get into the rhomboids. Cool. 2 sets of these. So to reiterate, we've gone through the scapular cars, the single leg elevated glute bridge, both as a superset. And then after we've gone into the external rotation and the Y raises on a elevated bench or something similar. And then to finish, we've gone into bench thoracic extensions alongside the stick extension. If you do this routine and you slowly build it up over time by increasing resistance and increasing reps and slowing down the tempo, there is no reason why you're not going to improve your posture. It's really important though, when you start, to go slow, to use light weights, to really understand the feeling, really feel where you should be engaging and activating. Really try to identify if you're compensating, maybe by arching your spine too much or lifting up with the shoulder. Feel the movement and then add the resistance. Cool guys, hope you enjoyed the routine. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comments how you found it. Cheers.